Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Post-corona period. There is, just like Bitcoin, a new frontier that is developing on a global scale and has been around for many years now. It's just because of the news blackout, just like with Bitcoin. It's only now that people are understanding what Bitcoin is. Titan money. And on the back of that, your newspapers are not reporting the NFTs, non-fungible tokens. This is what your currency, your money, your tokenization, your sweat equity, the monies, the trust, the faith that you have will run on NFTs, non-fungible tokens. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the third industrial revolution. The first revolution you already know. The second, you know it as steam power and combustion engines. Well, this third revolution, ladies and gentlemen, will put every man and woman in contact with each other. In doing so, the sanctity of the trust position is virtually non-existent to be able to violate. In other words, the position of trust that enables one man to do a business with another woman, or a woman with a man, or a man with any item on this planet, whether it's an exchange of ideas or patents, does no longer require a centralized, so-called trusted party. The Web 1, as they speak of, is of course the dial-up and the very simple one-page websites or scroll pages as they were when they became a little bit more sophisticated. And of course, some basic video footage and audio was uploaded on the platform. Web 2, ladies and gentlemen, is what you've been witnessing now, which is the centralization of Google, YouTube, Facebook, and one or two others that have a 99% monopoly on what you and I do. At the moment, as it stands on Web 2, the only thing that you can own is a domain name. You are not even in control of your own website. Yes, you can control the domain name, but essentially you own nothing. You own no properties on the internet. The medium of exchange, that so-called trusted third party, we, the people, have lost total faith with them because they have broken trust, and you cannot keep trust with an organization that breaks faith. The Web 3, as it is commonly called now, is just like Bitcoin. The sanctity of the security is backed by the blockchain mechanism. A blockchain mechanism that we understand in common terms as being a true bill. What does that mean? Every transaction is logged. That means when you hire somebody, that man or woman will give you a bill. And that bill will contain the price and the cost and where he got them supplies from and etc. And it will be counter-autographed or signatory of where all the items come. So when it comes to the end user, which is you, the one that commissions this, you have a list of where everything came from and where everything is going and the price from beginning to an end. When you have a middleman, the numbers go missing. When you have a middleman, the supplies go missing, what the true value of these things were. In other words, you no longer have a chain of custody, breaking the sanctity of trust and faith. You understand the dilemma of what I am speaking about when a third man or a third party comes in, like Google or YouTube. Those days are vanishing by the hour. And they are adapting, ladies and gentlemen, they are adapting to the way that the Titans would do business, which is with the use of Bitcoin and blockchain and, of course, NFTs. Web 3, ladies and gentlemen, is your third industrial revolution. One that will potentially make every man and woman here listening to me, as well as those people that are broadcasting this type of information, the ones that educate themselves on this, will become potentially wealthy. I have to say potential because just like any industrial revolution, you have to know what will steam do to industry, steam power. What will the combustion engine do for transport and for industry? If you bypass that knowledge, following it to its logical conclusion, if you bypass it and take it for granted that NFTs are a childlike token, only restricted to artists and musicians, you will be wrong. I will give you an example of the potency of what I'm saying. Let's imagine that I want to buy a house. I don't want a death pledge called a mortgage, so I'm going to broadcast to all of yous using the World Wide Web, third generation, Web 3, to say I need to raise 500,000 whatever units of money that is, let's imagine US dollars, and 10,000 of yous come forward and you offer minute sums in return for this or that, albeit larger sums in return for this or that. And I have essentially raised the money through this World Wide Web 3, bypassing the banks. You have now become my banker, and I am able to bank the money that I have got from yous using what is known as smart contracts. In other words, we control the contracts for every transaction that goes through. The standardized mechanism is if I had 10,000 people coming forward to raise that money of $500,000 US, with a click of a button, every single one of yous raising that funds for me have a contract with me. And the middleman is nothing more than a small computer program. No middleman, no bank. Let's imagine that a new continent is opening up called the Shanghai Corporation. And you need, or they need, to raise money. But they don't want to go to the banks, but they want to go to you, the public. How potent will it be for you to invest, say, in a company that essentially will provide incredible changes to these new continents? Look up the Shanghai Corporation. It's the largest economic zone on this planet that's being birthed into your era. Bitcoin is yours, NFTs are yours, the education is yours, Shanghai is yours. Have you ever wondered why programs like comedy programs from the BBC in this country would portray Kurdistans as comical and incestuous, uncouth, unsophisticated to do business with? Do you know why such programs are made and commissioned? Is so the people that are wanting to go in there first, the big corporations, make it look absurd in your eyes, so you don't ever take in the Shanghai Corporation seriously, because one of the members is Kurdistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, China, Russia, all coming together. And their medium is going to be NFTs, non-fungible tokens. As I said, the only thing that you can own at this moment on Web.2 is a domain name. That's all. Imagine that now reverses. You actually own a part of that entire web. Like, for example, decentralization. At the moment, we have companies all over the world called Uber and Airbnb. Can you imagine that every single driver is the owner of Uber, and Uber is just a computer programming allowing the facilitating of those drivers to bring in contact with the customers? At the moment, Uber is a centralized organization. That's the power of it. that every single driver owns Uber, and every customer is integrating itself with the drivers through that medium of exchange, blockchain. Just like Airbnb. Airbnb is the largest hotelier on the planet, but they own not a single building. It's a powerful statement, just like Uber don't own any cars, but they know how the middleman works. Now imagine every single man and woman putting their properties on Airbnb are owners of Airbnb itself, and the customers are the people that interface directly with these people that put their rooms and houses up for the purposes of tourism or travel, bypassing any need for you to go into a hotel. That's the power of it, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine, of course, you're an artist or musician. You don't ever need a middleman, do the marketing. All that is facilitated. What you need to do is produce that fantastic content, which is what your creativity will now allow you to do. At the moment, all of people's creativities have to go through a middleman. They suck up the creativity. On the first week of next year, 2022, one or two of the judges that know about these technologies will be teaching how the NFTs work. And to safeguard that, what they're going to do is that they're going to package their teaching into an NFT. What does that mean? And now listen very carefully. Let's imagine that you had a piece of paper like this that was worth, say, 200,000. Let's make it easy, 100,000 US dollars. And there were only 1,000 of tokens created. In other words, only 1,000 people have possession of that training course. And within that smart contract, it's got on there, well, once you've understood it, without making any copies, because it's non-fungible, which means you cannot divide it, you're free to sell it on. But you have to sell it on slightly more than you bought it for. And when you do, you get a percentage, and so does the originator. So they are going to teach the general public how it's done by doing it themselves on the very course that they're going to teach. Fantastic.